In one space. I am. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, Facebook kittens and caboodles. I am your host, Bleu Waters, and this is the Satin Sonnets, an online erotic experience. And we are going to be sharing some erotic poetry tonight. For several hours, you have an opportunity of tuning in and sharing some of your most erotic, deep thoughts. And I can't wait to hear. I'm oozing right now. And I'm just bubbling over with eroticism. Had a few drinks, lights down low, boo on the way, and I have something I'd like to share at this moment. This piece is called Spilled Milk. Look at what you've done. You poured too much into my cup. Now it's flowing everywhere. creamy and thick, spilling after every back and forth movement you make. It's gotten me all hot and wet. Shit, we are making a mess. And I like it. My pillow unsuccessfully hides screams of pleasurable pain. I don't call your name, I sketch it into your flesh. You drill beyond my barriers into the depths of me, spilling more and more of your essence onto my satin sheets, sweet and sticky, because you steered it over and over until it clings to us. My back arches inward as you strike a chord, and my milk spills over onto your floors. Look at what you've done with all my milk. So that's the type of erotic poetry that we want to do tonight. I want y'all to give me stuff that's going to make me say, damn, baby, I want some. I want some of that. We have a guest with us tonight, and I would like for her to come in and share some of her eroticism with us. Hello, Najah.
Greetings.
Greetings. Are you
Greetings.
ready?
I am almost ready. I got to step away from the camera real quick because
Okay.
I got to go get my stuff. Hold up.
You got to go get your stuff. All right. Anyone that wants to join us to deliver some live erotic poetry, the lines are open. I'm hoping that we can get this party popping. While we wait, I think I'm going to share another poem. Actually, no, I'm going to wait. I'm going to give it some time. I want to get more people in here. Give it some time. And while I'm waiting, I hope everybody's quarantining right. I know I am. I've come up with some creative ways of making things wonderful for my erotic friend. Yes, let's get the crew to a 10.
Yes.
Yes.
Can we discuss how excited I am? Let's start there.
Wow. Are you really?
I'm excited to be able to actually be in a creative space with you, like together. Like I'm hyped because you know we've known each other for several years, but we've
I
never had a
know.
chance to be together in a creative space. And I am excited about this. So I love the fact that you are a part of this platform and that you're doing what you do. Because trust me, I be peeping my notifications when the watch parties pop off.
Hey,
I
hey,
be
hey.
watching. But unfortunately, my life be messing with my life, or I'll be doing some stuff on a Friday night I ain't got no business discussing. One or the
Mm-hmm.
other. One or the other.
Okay.
So unfortunately, I can't be able to like watch. Like I be watching all of y'all, like Christy and everybody, and Jonathan
Mm-hmm.
and all that stuff. So like I feel like even though I'm an artist,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like a groupie at the same time.
I
I'm
understand
low
that
key.
completely.
I'm like, it looks like I'm like, this whole thing is like being around y'all. It's like, people are like, why is she here? But I'm like, no, I do stuff. Like, I do like artistic stuff. Like,
Well, I'm glad
so,
that you're mentioning that because I was like, well, when Mr. Couser was like, you know what, Najah wants to be featured to do some erotic poetry. I said, she'll do erotic poetry. I love some erotic poetry.
no.
I didn't even know that.
No, it's very true. I wound up by accident. I was doing poetry before, like as far as in the Baltimore open mic scene,
Mm-hmm.
and wrote in college, things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very close friends with Shelly Says So. And
Okay.
so she's the one who brought me into the Baltimore open mic scene, really, as far
Mm-hmm.
as being actually active participant. And
Mm-hmm.
she was, doing her thing as Shelly says so, killing
Mm-hmm.
the game. And she wound up a part of, I support her. She's my sister. I support her in all aspects of things. So she would be like, yo, you got to come out to the open mic. I know you can still carry a note. I know you can still sing. Come through, come through. And I would
Mm-hmm.
come through. And then she was doing her thing as Shelly says so. And she didn't know that I wrote. And so, I would contribute, to open mics or whatever, what have you. And she'd be like, yo, I knew your mouth slick, but I didn't know your pen was slick with your mouth. I didn't know that. So she wound up being a part of the Sweet Spot. I don't know if you heard of the Sweet Spot. It's pop erotica,
Mm-hmm.
poetry tour, burlesque dancing,
Mm-hmm.
BDSM, erotica poetry and all that stuff. And she wound up being a part of it, being supportive and whatnot. And I wound up getting to know some of the other artists as they were coming through individually, not as a part of the ensemble,
Right.
to, feature in Baltimore, DMV area. And somehow, some way, I did a poem that I have here
Mm-hmm.
that Ainsley Burroughs, who runs, is the founder of Sweet Spot, thought was very interesting. And he was like, I want you to come, he's Jamaican. He was like, Najah, I want you to come to the show. And I want you to see let me know how you like it. Let me know how you feel about it. Let me know how you feel. So I
Hold
wound up
on,
doing
Najah.
that.
First of all, you didn't just break out with the accent. You broke out with this man's whole accent.
Yeah. Because Ainsley is everything. Like, I would love for you to encounter him. He is interesting. He is definitely a treat
You
to
know,
work with.
I'm gonna tell you something. That's what I love about Baltimore. Baltimore has so much character. And
Yes,
I just have so much love for the artists here in Baltimore. I know that sometimes it can be cliquish and it can be
it
a
can
little
be.
bit bougie, and you got this group right here and that group right here. But what I will say is it's a lot of talent here.
Yes,
And whenever it's always amazing when I'm out and about and I'm like, I see someone perform and I'm like, damn, I didn't even know they could do that. I did
yeah,
not know they could do that. So I am so glad that I have the opportunity to actually experience some of your Now, let me tell you something. I'm a poet. I'm not. I don't think I'm a spoken word artist because it's a
yeah.
specific artistry to being a spoken word artist. I mean, y'all. I mean, they have the capacity to memorize stuff. I did too much weed in my day back in the day. You know,
Trust me, I'm there
yesterday.
now.
No,
Like me and Mary Jane are becoming besties very quickly now. That's what happens when you work in the job that I work with. Me and Mary Jane are becoming fast friends. Uh, so I get it. I don't judge nobody. We are not here. This is a judgment free zone.
okay,
So
no, but that's the thing. That's always been my thing for why I have I've never really engaged in a poetry scene because it's like everybody in a poetry scene was just so damn good, and it's like, oh man, I didn't smoke too much weed to be up there memorizing shit, and so it's like, and it's too many words to memorize. So I'm like, you know what? I'd rather sing and do my thing there, but I'm starting to get back into poetry. I love writing love poems. I love writing erotic poetry. I think it's enough poetry about, the pro-black and civil issues and things of that nature, social reform. But love is something that I enjoy talking about, and especially when it's between the sheets or getting ready to get between the sheets, or you have this hidden crush for this special someone that you're thinking of, and you just don't know how to really tell them. So you pick up your pen, you jot
yeah,
down a
and you flesh
few.
it out. You
You
flesh
just
it
flesh
out,
that
man.
thing out. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so wait a minute. Someone told me that I decided I want to put on clothes. Well, first of all,
Right.
if I didn't put on clothes for this show, this would be a Pornhub exclusive. And I don't think y'all ready for that. First of all, I ain't seen no porn.
I mean, am I gonna get a cut though? Like, I'm on here, like, even though I'm dressed, I just want to know, like, I don't need a lot. Like, a 5% cut is just totally fine with me.
Well,
Like, we
first of
good.
all,
Like,
Naja, are you in charge of the girls?
there you go.
Are you are you in charge of the girls? If you ain't in charge of the girls,
Yeah, exactly. I am in charge of those. Like, I'm sorry, that's one of my favorite movies, by the way. Like, Della Reese did more in 10 minutes of screen time
Exactly.
than the comedic genius that was surrounding them the entire film. And I just feel that's just how I feel about it. She went out on a limb for the full on like verbal and physical comedy that took place. She did more in that 10 minutes on screen that made the
Hmm.
whole goddamn movie.
So I don't know how I do that. So they say share. I'm being told to share the live. I don't know how to do that. So I'm trying to figure out how to do that.
Come
Yeah.
share my life. I'm sorry, I just had to felt that in
Okay.
my spirit.
Okay.
I had
So how long
felt
have
the
you been?
Mickey Howard in my spirit.
You don't start singing. Don't start singing some good old fashioned love music because then that's gonna put me in the mood for something else. And I'm digging this background here because that remind me of a weekend
Yes,
that I.
I'm looking at it. I'm like, I'm trying to focus on what you're saying, but I'm like, bitch. Like, I'm really
So
like,
tell me
mm-hmm.
something good. What are you gonna share with us first?
I was debating if I should just go full fledged ignorant or if I should intersperse like or just like do like softcore ignorant with interspersed paces of like love and
Mm-hmm.
like low like softcore into
Mm-hmm.
hardcore
Mm-hmm.
or hardcore and going backwards. Like I don't know what like, but I feel like we should do some foreplay situation. We should break this down right. So we're gonna be soft about it.
Okay.
We're gonna be real soft about it. So it's gonna like people gonna be like, oh, where's the heavy hitting shit? Give it time.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Okay.
know that there are folks in the audience that's about that wham bam thank you ma'am, but ladies and gentlemen, erotica, from what I've learned from the great mother of Petula Caesar, that it's
Oh,
not about the act. It is not about the act. It is about the emotions and feelings and sensory before, during, and after the act. So
oh, I love Petula. I love
yeah.
Tula. She is amazing.
I will be at her workshop on May 5th. Trust and believe I will be streaming and learning and gleaning because I need deeper pockets. Because there's an erotica slam, love an erotica slam out in Busboys Poets Tacoma Park. And I've taken lunch money before, but I
Mm-hmm.
need to, I want to make sure that it's a sure thing every time. So I'm trying to get my pockets deep with my
Mm-hmm.
erotica. So I will be learning.
Okay.
And I encourage everybody to look up, Petula Caesar and look at, check her out on Facebook. She does have the promo for the event for if you want to do like an erotica workshop, because I
Mm-hmm.
will be in the building as a student. So I hope others will be urged to dig into that and attend because I will be there.
I'm gonna be looking into that because I definitely wanna
Mm-hmm.
learn some things, and I know Tula is she has a lot of a wealth of information that she could
Okay.
share. So I definitely want to tune in for that. And and then she can she has this eroticism thing down pat. Sister got
Yes,
some.
it does.
Yes, indeedy. I dig in. I'm listening to it. I'm like, okay, okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I'm with it. I'm with it. Like I'll be sitting there like, ooh, like I'll be like a 5-year-old, like, ooh, that's bad.
Ooh, ooh. And then
Because
I'm
she
like,
can't fuck
damn,
with
I
you.
want to try that. Huh? When I hear something that's like, that sounds good. Have I had some of that before?
You
Have I
did,
did
but it didn't sound like that though. You did, but it just didn't sound like that.
right, right. Like, hmm. So
So
I'm
I'm
going
gonna
to
try to see what I
say,
can do. So let's
I'm
try this out. I have a wonderful poem called Home Economics.
okay.
I like surprising people. Like you ain't gonna see where it's gonna go, but watch it.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm ready for it. Give me some home economics.
I have been in the center of your dreams and didn't know it. Main role in your magnus opus script, yet all could be heard was the foil wrapper of the magnum open and rip, anticipating that I will play the perfect part. I have been your words turned flesh. I have been the thief of your breath. Your thoughts are never pure and safe with me. You study me as if my switch will provide you with the answers to the inappropriate academic questions in your mind's assessment. Like, how high a degree can you get my back to lift from off the bed when you make it arch geometry? How many mental running laps could the memory of the back shots you gave me the night before cross my mind if you tongued me down for 3 hours as opposed to two physical education? And how different would I taste if you used more honey and less chocolate to mix with the juices off of my left thigh? Home economics. You love home economics, but not as much as English, as you long to make sure that your subject will never come before my predicate, but you really love home ec. And you want me to love it just as much as you do. You want to make me look for you in the daytime with a flashlight. You want me to be your belt's best friend. You rub all of my trust issues out of my body to escape out of the coiled spirals on top of my head that you made return by way of sweat and slow slurping away of my pride with the shameless equality of putting your mouth under Slurpee machine dispensers at the 7-Eleven. Baby, you have made me wild cherry tonight. You have made me three-tiered chocolate fountain, you with fruit platter, bated breath, ready to alleviate all that which masturbating makes heavy. Your hands crave the familiarity of my weight. You can't wait to make me blossom. You can't wait to uproot me. You can't wait to place me center upon your table and say she looks perfect right here. We have gently and perfectly set your firm intentions right here. Knuckle fists leaning to hold up your own weight as not to appear crushing, but baby, that is all you have done for months now, and I have been watching you. Celebrate your achievements in the study of me. You have passed all your tests and classes, and I look upon you with fondness of teacher's pride while you have mastered the liberal art of applying your artistry upon me liberally with a strong concentration in home ec. In peace.
Right.
So yeah, there we go.
Okay, so now I want to ask, who inspired that piece?
You know what? I'm gonna tell my business tonight. It's my birthday. I'm gonna tell my business. I've been living 30.
First of all, let's stop. Let's go back. Happy birthday!
Gracias.
Happy birthday!
Glory to see it another year, and I'm happy about it. But you know, I'm 37 years old. I'm a grown ass woman. I got a teenage son. You know what? I can do what I want to do. So yeah, I'm gonna tell my business. That's fine. Y'all gonna deal with it.
So you said, first of all, you said you're a grown ass woman,
and
you want to tell your business. So I want to know. I want to know.
Believe it or not, it was, you know, I will, you know, I will take away names to protect the not so innocent. So I will, you know, withhold that. But there was a gentleman who I was intimate with, but I watched him be very blatant in his interest in me, as far as like he was crushing hard. And like I could see like, you know, like I could watch the sex tape just go by in his eyeballs, like as far as like the fantasy that plays in his mind, as far as between the two of us, I could see it. And it was very interesting, and it just made me just, you know, want to write that out. Like I could see, I'm like, you really want to do things, don't you? Like I saw it, and I just wanted to like just try and put pen to at least like the tip of the iceberg of probably what was going on in his brain. Trust me, he showed me better than I could write it. But it was,
let me tell you something. Did you meet him in home economics? Did you meet him in one of those classes?
We had our own independent study.
Oh. I know that's right.
You know, we were doing, you know, at home learning before it was ever a thing. So, you know, we like, you know, our study groups to be very small and concentrated, but other things, of course, very large. But that was
amen to that.
Amen. Hallelujah. Yes.
Okay. I like that piece.
So that's, you know, that's one of those, yeah. Some of these are actually like, I don't know how many even pieces I'm allowed to do, because like I have like about 4 or 5 poems running around here. So I have no idea how many to do.
Well, until it gets full, you're free. I'm giving you free roam. You know, you can do what you can do. You know what? And you know what? Now this is I'm gonna let you get a taste of what I do. I have a poem here. So this is an opportunity for you to hear a poem that I've written. Now I'm gonna preface this by saying that when I wrote this poem, it was for someone that, well, you know what, he just it was like he was asthma. He just took my breath.
Yes.
It just like
Yes. Break
just
out the albuterol.
yeah,
Yes. No, sorry.
yeah, he was able to suck all of the life right out of me. And
Ah, so snatcher. Respect.
yeah, yeah. And let me tell you, it felt good. It felt good when I was with him and everything like that. And he inspired this poem. It's called Good Sweetness.
Yes. I'm sorry. I got excited already. Go on. Mhm.
It's, so I caught a good sweetness last night. His flavor lingered on my lips well after the moment had passed, and it left me intoxicated for hours. I met this goodness by mistake in a place where most times goodnesses don't exist.
Mm,
Mm.
that's
He
word.
stood there innocently inviting me into his presence, and I didn't mind allowing myself to slip into his embrace, to find paradise there in his arms. His skin matched the night, and his eyes were stars as our lips gently danced. I found God in his kiss. He whispered a forbidden spell into my ears, made the words soft and warm as his heat found my neck and caressed it sensuously. Our bodies melted together and we found our rhythm amongst a noisy world. We struck the perfect chord on a grand scale, escaping into our lust and finding our home there. I admit, I was scared at first. I didn't have many meaningful possessions to give, and although the light of my heart burned strong, its container was quite fragile. Although he held me gently, his hands were big and rough and threatened to snuff out my warmth, threatened to turn out the sun and leave me cold and burn, fruitless and empty, bitter to the taste and cold to the touch. Damn it, he left me weak. But I couldn't help but savor the sweetness of his kiss. His essence existed well after he left. I could feel him beat repeatedly on my walls, tearing down my defenses, clipping my wings, sending me spiraling from grace. Mm. That night, I found myself walking unapologetically in the middle of the street, shoeless and disheveled, draped in his scent and sweat, trying to quell the storm he left raging between my thighs. I laughed out loud amongst the stillness of the night at a good sweetness I caught last night. Scene. That's it. What you think? What you think about my good sweetness?
Oh my God. I just need I was like, yes. Like I've been thinking about I'm like, where's my life headed? Why are we doing this? Why am I not there in life? What is happening? I need like that intensity, that closeness, that heat in between, like where you're not touching, but the energy is there. Dude, that's where the poems are. That's where
That
the erotic poetry is. That space between two human bodies, like that's where it is, my friend. I'm trying to tell you that is where it is, my friend. It is right there. That space in between those two is that's where all the poems are. All the
yeah,
poems, all the fantasies, all the energy, all that stuff. It's there. That's where it is.
yeah, and when I was writing and I was thinking, I was like, oh my goodness, he made me like it was. Yeah, and I like that feeling. I like when, first of all, I like the feeling of the hunt. I like
Yes,
when,
the pursuit. The pursuit.
yeah, the pursuit, and I like being pursued. I like being the one being chased, but I like to play hard to get.
Mm.
But when they leave, they have that mystique about them, where
Mm.
where you're speaking, but words aren't being stated, but you're actually
Yes.
having full conversations, body language. That's what I'm
Yes.
all
The
for.
nuance. The nuance.
Yes,
The
yes.
nuance. The
And let me tell
nuance.
you, I'm a quietest. That's actually I've had the hugest crush. I'm just sharing this with you, Nash. I'm sharing. I've had the hugest crush on a Baltimore poet for a long, long, long time because of that mere fact that they are able to just capture you with their words. It's like they throw out a net and just pull my ass in, and trust me, I be going willingly. Do you
No,
have
I'm back.
another?
I'm back. I got excited because I heard that last line before I went out. Don't think I didn't hear that shit, but I did.
I did. I did.
Okay.
I have a poem. I have one. I'm a groupie for one person. I'm a groupie for one person in Baltimore City. One person. And that's because this person is to me like the everything. But I'm gonna keep that secret to myself.
Hey,
No one
hey,
will
some things
ever
are for
know
you
the
in your
secret.
prayer
No
closet. Yeah, so that's
one.
some things are for you in your prayer closet, and
That
that's
is.
cool.
That
So
is.
I'm sitting up here looking at like, should I be sweet about this? Should I do a love poem before I start? Because like I have two other poems that are just straight up nasty, so I'm trying to like hold off on before I like hammer folks. I'm trying to get before I start like So
Mhm.
I don't do love poems, believe it or not. Like I'm just now getting into the space of actual love poems. That says a whole lot more about me than the actual
Mhm.
art form. That's for me, and I'm working that out as a person
Mhm.
right now. That's probably why I ain't like you see this bed behind me is nice and freshly made, untouched because honey, it's cold in
Oh.
here because I had to make sure like between the pandemic, like, like I said, like I was putting my post, like every time I think about doing some nasty shit, I hear Cardi B, coronavirus, the
Oh
shit
no.
is real. Like, so that should be making me anxious. I'd be nervous. So I'm like, you know what? Never mind. But I started, as I'm starting to understand what it is I need in my life, I had to dream about the kind of healing relationship, what I want my love to be for my life. So I
Mhm.
came up with this poem. It's all the way love. Ain't nothing nasty about it, but it's very sweet. So we just gonna, you're gonna be
Before you
sweet.
Before you go, I want to send a shout out. Hey, Shauna. Hey, Mr. Liggins. Join in if you have a poem that you'd like to perform. Please, by all means, share it with us. We'd love for you to just share your art with us. This is an
Very much so.
open experience, and we are celebrating uh, Najah's Earth Day, her G
Yes.
Day. You know, Shauna says happy birthday to you, sweetie.
Thank
And
you, Shauna.
so, and she her request is for you to do the nasty one. And
Okay.
so she said do
That's
that.
good. Okay, fine.
Okay.
That's fine. That's fine. We can do that. If that is what it is, and that's what it's going to be. So this is me really telling my business, but I said I was going to do it. So it's I think my mom's watching. So
I like a good
um
tea. You said
yes.
she got
So
to hold on, baby. Pass me my drink, sugar. She said
yes.
she gonna tell some tea. Hold on. I'm gonna get ready.
Yeah,
Look, I
I
gotta
think my mom is watching or listening. I don't know. I think possibly some of my family members may be as well. I love y'all. So just remember that, and remember that you love me too, and that I'm grown.
uh
So
oh. It's gonna be
yeah,
one of those nights. Oh my
yeah.
goodness.
So
Is it gonna be steamy like that background? Because
yes,
who's ever in that shower, they are getting it.
yes. I'm like a little jelly. I'm a little jealous. Like, damn, I
Yeah,
ain't had that, and oh shit, man, when is outside gonna be open again? Like, god damn.
I'm just gonna
So
start having a sex with a mask on. I'm just,
I mean, freakier things have happened. I mean, what's part of the mystique? Anywho, let me stop. Let me go ahead and go with this. It's called Making the Dream Work. Poem's called Making the Dream Work.
okay.
They dismantled me elated. A dynamic sex duo with a bond that broke wedding vows, each turning their respective spouses into side pieces within their own marriage. They adored each other. A veritable Bonnie and Clyde, yet couldn't hide that there was someone special they needed in their lives until there was I, an entertainer in denial. Didn't know the power of my own pen or pussy. They were my first audience. Two different genders, same goal. One mouth they both longed to have pressed against their own. Four hands longing for the softness of one flesh. They spent months putting their heads together in effort to spread my legs apart. My pussy was a different kind of group project, both wanting equal, yet extra credit. I was clearly outnumbered 2-1. He, tall, slick caramel man that loved beautiful things, my mind and body, to name a few, he touched me first. And my pussy paralyzed his preconceived notions of me and she. Well, I always knew that if I ever held a woman in my arms, that she would be a product of the most superficial parts of me, and she was that. A tall cafe au lait of Asian descent with a Coke bottle frame, double D breasts, and a heart-shaped ass. We giggled like sisters. But she wanted to know if I tasted just as sweet as my disposition. They say three is a crowd. I say if it is, it's because the bed's too small. Couches have three separate cushions. There's room for us all. She wanted to be here, immersed in the thickness of my thighs, her tongue on my clit, my hands in her softly tressed crown, her palms opening upwards to the raining heaven of me, her two fingers beckoning me for more. She wanted me to pour upon the open wound of her unraveled patience. He wanted to see me. Writhing and winding upon her hands and mouth, breast heaving and swaying in the open air, nipples as erect as he was inside of her, stroking encouragement, full play in the third degree, his woman getting served while she was serving me, nothing common about it. To have more than one person massaging these massive tits, throbbing dick in right hand, wet pussy in my left, different mouth on each nipple, multitasking for that ass. Daddy was giving his little girl what she wanted, a new baby doll to play with. He couldn't stand to see her play all by herself, though. They wanted the entertainment. I spit hot fire on mics just as well as dicks and clits, and can't nobody rock a crowd like me. However, this was a team effort. We were sisters in seduction. We both bit down and over in unison, skin tones greatly contrasting, similar centers blushed, pulsing flesh pink. He gave us equal attention as sibling rivalry tends to ruin moments like these. At some point, alternating between a stroke by stroke, the desecration of one, the fulfillment of another, what a pyre of pussy we became. They both made me come 3 times each. I'm a fat girl, but that night your girl had a 6-pack. And we were lust engulfed in flames, and the spray of his cum was just the fire extinguisher we needed. They say 3 is a crowd. I say, get it how I live, then come holler at me. That is, of course, if you can find a big enough bed. Done.
Yes. You better come through.
Hey.
Let me tell you something. So have you ever had a threesome?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, the long and short of it.
I had to put it. I mean, if this is going to be an erotic issue, I'm going to get nosy. I'm telling you, the cat is here. The cat.
Yeah, you know, teamwork makes the dream work.
Makes the dream work. I mean, now, be between us girls. Yes. Just between. Was it worth it? Was it good? Who was better, him or her?
You know what? I was like my first encounter with a woman, and you know, she was really in a place of, I just want to enjoy you, sis. Like I've had things on my mind. I know you ain't thinking about me like that, but let me show you what's been on my brain. And so I'm like, okay. Like, you know, I was a little confused for a second because like I realized like it was one of those things like I was the last to know. Mm-hmm. Like, but it wasn't like necessarily a entrapment kind of situation. It was like my curiosity got the better of me. It was like, well, since we're here, you know, and actually it happened like a few days before my birthday. It was actually very interesting. So, you know, it was very interesting. Like, sis was so good, I kind of forgot who was down there. I was like, oh, wait a minute, that's fun. I was like, really? Like, I was just like, okay, well, good for you. Like, I just was like, you know, I was like, you know, from a critique standpoint, I was like, that, well done. Well done. Well, I don't know if I'm that good. I haven't bothered to go any further with it, but I was just like, okay. So, okay, this makes sense for you. Okay, that's fine. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, because it's one thing to have like another woman tell you that your pussy tastes good. Like, you really feel like, yeah, like you just like, it's like dudes can say whatever they need to say to keep getting access. But when another woman tells you, yeah, that sis, you got the, yeah, you like, I do. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I just want to hop off my damn self, like, hey, I got that good, I got that snapper, yeah. Like that's how I be feeling. Can tell me nothing.
Well, you know, The funny thing is that the first time now I've been in two scenarios. I've been in a threesome with two guys, and I've
Mm-hmm.
been in a threesome. I've been in three actually. I've been in a threesome with two guys. Been in a threesome with a guy and a girl, and been in a threesome with two girls. And
Hey,
I always say I think it was different for each one, but I will say the first, a guy and a girl. The reason I was in the threesome with a guy and a girl was because my curiosity was, what did pussy taste like? I wanted to
yeah,
know. But my curiosity, I was like, I didn't suck dick, but I wanted to actually,
yeah, I want to know. Like
I
sometimes
want
your
to
curiosity
know.
is like how often can you get an opportunity like this? That's pretty much where I was. I was like, when
Yeah,
am I going to like? When, this isn't going to just stumble in my lap. Like I don't have that kind of privilege. Like let's
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 make the
find out
most
what
of
this is. Yeah. So I was just like, if I feel uncomfortable, we will discuss this. But it wasn't that the joy of taking poetic license, it really wasn't as glamorous as what I wrote about. Like the reality of sex is really not that it's not that glamorous, but it
Well,
was great.
well, I've had. Now, I would like to say that I'm probably a sexually very adventurous person. So
Yeah,
I'm the type of person who find ways of making it poetic. I'm a public person. I will find a space where I can go at and get my life. Now I'm toned it down a whole lot.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
A
yeah.
whole
Adventure is for
lot.
your 20s. Yeah, adventure is for your 20s. We're you know
I have too much to lose at this point. But back in the day, when I tell you.
yeah,
I used to, yeah, it was because I think I started for me after high school and just at that beginning of young adulthood, it was just
yeah,
like, get it in.
yeah. The
I
roaring
didn't have
20s.
any rules and regulations that I had to abide by. And one of the things that I wanted to explore was just my sexuality as
Yeah.
much as possible.
Yeah, because
So,
sex is for grown folks. So you gotta figure. When you're grown, like you can do that. Like so, that's they call it the Roaring 20s for a reason. But Lord
mhm,
help us when we reach the Dirty 30s. Whoa,
mm,
whoa. Like
wow.
the Dirty 30s is just literally the momentum not quite slowing down from your 20s. Like I'm getting spill. Like my 30s was just spillover of unmet things during my 20s that I didn't quite get to.
Mhm,
So, and unfortunately now, I'm knocking on my 40s, like, 37, 40 is going to come around the corner in a snap. And apparently that's supposed to be a woman's sexual prime, if you will. So God
yes,
help
it
us
is.
all. God
It's
help us
my
all.
pride. Let me tell you something. I am at. Let me tell you. Look. I don't know what you say. It's a woman's. I don't know if it's. It must be the woman inside of me because
Yes,
that
it's about
bitch
that
is
time when
fine.
you got to. Because now we're like it's like
She.
we're not doing like
Oh,
remedial classes, like we're doing symposiums now. Like we're teaching workshops now. We're no longer like students. We are facilitators and creators of content and curriculum now. And so like now I'm like I don't feel like doing no basic shit. I need something interesting. Like it's a slippery slope to go from freaky to nasty as you age. It's a very slippery slope. I found this out.
and I think I'm a. You know what the funny thing is that I can't even discern. I can't discern which am I because I think I'm. I think when I start off, I want to be freaky, but it ends up real nasty.
Yeah, like that's how and dare I say that's how I wound up pegging a dude. Like I wound up like it was a slippery slope, and I descended very quickly into a whole other area of life that I really didn't expect my life like expect to find myself in. I was like, oh, so we're here now.
Mm.
Oh, okay. Well, let the good times roll. All right, like we got the move. Okay, like it's just like hey, we're here. I don't know.
So I'm looking and I'm thinking that we have some other poets that would like to perform some
Yay!
pieces. Do we have any poets that would like to perform some pieces?
Is there one?
Is there two? One, going once, going twice. I am going to. Smitty, you got a poem? Shauna, you got a
Hey,
poem? Tavad, you have a poem?
'Cause I know y'all watching and I know y'all do stuff.
Well, I don't think everybody is. You have to kind of be okay in your skin to start talking, to deliver an erotic poem, and
It's
have
not.
that
I never thought I would be here. I really never really thought that I would be here. Like I was definitely. I've always been like honest. Like it was more so like if you ask me personally, if you had enough gall to ask me, I pretty much would have no problem in sharing. But I'm never necessarily like, oh, I'm here, unsolicited sharing of my personal life. Yeah. But it's at the same time, like I come from a very sexually liberated family. So, we are education was the key to not getting your ass in trouble at a young age. Like the more that you were educated about sex, sexual behavior, and things of that nature, the less likely. And like my cousins and myself, like we all, we didn't have any kids till we was grown. We, because we were armed. Like no little knucklehead boy could tell us some BS, and we just go with it because we knew
mm-hmm,
too much.
mm-hmm,
So we never had to deal with those things. So as an adult, it was like, okay, you grown, you know what it is. You
mm-hmm,
can now accept whatever consequences that can come if you're not careful with this, that, and the third. My
mm-hmm.
grandmother was like, go forth and multiply. Go. So she was like, but make sure you have fun while you do it, because then it's just a waste.
And I'm gonna say the thing about what I do like about poetry, especially erotic poetry or love poetry, is it gives you an opportunity um, to make sex beautiful, to make love
Mhm.
beautiful. And yeah, I mean, I think we got enough with the vulgar, and you can get you get that. That's a lot of it. You see a lot of vulgarity, but when you actually have a good erotic poem, it's not necessarily vulgar. And
No.
you can make it really, really, really tasteful, and it delivers the punch that it need to deliver. And so that's
Yeah.
what actually got me into erotic poetry, was that I was used to, the vulgarity, but I wanted to challenge myself in just making it very tasteful and artistic, and make it beautiful, and make it something that you actually enjoy doing, and it didn't have to be something that was just nasty.
Yeah, as a
And I
poet,
think.
you want people to walk away with a feeling. You want them to walk away feeling a certain way, or learning a lesson in what it is that you share, or being able
Mhm.
to sit in the same space with you with whatever it is that you're describing. My job as a writer is to set this up where you feel like it's a virtual reality situation, where you feel like you're right in the space with me. And so you have to make it a space that people want to be in. And frankly, who isn't having sex or isn't thinking about, like, it's something that anybody can identify with, even as far as asexual, like even describing when you don't want to be in a sexual space with someone. Like everyone has to deal with their sexuality in some capacity, so everyone is able to identify. So
Mhm.
it's an opportunity to identify with everybody in the room.
Yeah.
That's the most great. It's an opportunity to identify with everybody in the room. Anyone, like your audience, you're able to identify with everyone. They can't say that they can't relate, if you
Mhm.
will.
Mhm.
And the whole thing is you're bringing your personal perspective and allowing them to sit in your space and see your perspective.
Mhm.
And they walk away with a feeling. They walk away with having access to an experience that they may not want to actually experience directly for themselves,
Mhm.
but they're at least able to identify and maybe have a sense of empathy or respect for anyone who's engaging, to actually know the personal account and experience of an individual. And it brings the goal is to bring a perspective and to change and to enlighten perspective. That's the goal. That's the purpose. I think that's
Mhm.
why we all do it. I think that's why we all do it.
I agree. I absolutely agree. So now, because I didn't get any response, and I haven't been cued as to someone wanting to perform, so I'm gonna. Do you have something else for us?
Sure, I'm gonna
I
I'm
do
gonna be
have.
cute about it.
I
I'm
do
gonna be
have
cute.
something, but I'm gonna take my time, because first of all, I'm trying to muster up the courage, because this poem was one that I wrote for someone, but I'm not going. Yeah, I'm taking my time with this. So
Oh.
while I'm mustering up some liquid courage, I'm going to I want
Um,
you to deliver another poem for us.
sure. I got like two love poems that I'm trying to like vary between. You know, we done got hot and heavy out here. Let's lighten it up for a second. So
Okay.
I don't know if you're a Jill Scott fan or not.
Yes.
Okay, well then you'll enjoy this because you're gonna about to see a whole bunch of different references all in here. I want you to be able to find each one.
All right.
Here we go. It's called CROI. If you're a Jill Scott fan, you know what that is. If you know what the acronym is.
Mm.
um, mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Jill Scott song. That's what I was told. A short yet powerful 1 minute, 30-second ode for a brother. But the flashbacks and the melody for him, he could never seem to separate. So he's put me on repeat in his stereo and in his memory. Forever, I will be the crown royal on ice within personal history, the fine cognac that keeps him company while he sips inside slowly as he begins to reminisce over me. My God, he says to himself in disbelief, why am I not with her? I was the business attire he admired, then dismantled in the spring, the red hot dress he treasured and disrobed in the summer, his spring summer feeling. Both April babies, we shine like gemstones bestowed upon our month of birth. He knew that it took more than diamonds to woo me because I already was one. I
Mm-hmm.
recall that one time. You know
Mm-hmm.
that one time where you say it's gonna be the last time? Like, girl, I'm gonna let him hit it one more time and I ain't gonna call this nigga back no more. Like, this is gonna be one more time. I ain't gonna mess with this dude no more. It was then that he served me up some sweet justice and taught me that when it comes to orgasms, one is definitely not the magic number. It was then I earned my name. His hands on my hips pulled me right back to him. And yeah, I caught that thrust, gave her right back to him. And yes, he was in so deep, I was breathing for him as he exhaled more Philly soul into me like, you're my baby, my lover, my lady. See, to him, I was so beautiful. To him, I was every melody realized. And I have no shame in admitting that he sung my panties right off my hips and thighs. He is my drummer. His boom and his bit with every lick of my clip that he gives me to the tune of Jodeci, confusing me, having my brain tell me that I can't leave him alone, but one day I will. And how can I do that when every time I black out and then I come back, he still meet me in the eye and he's still hitting that. It's that same pulling that has me earning frequent traveler miles on Amtrak. I'm a mere 60 minutes from ecstasy, cloaked in normalcy, that taste of honey molasses, yet he tells me that I am his drug of choice. His fine cognac that he sips slowly. How he misses the days when he would just lay back, close his eyes, and take me to the head while my legs were wrapped around his head. He showed me his skyline. He gave me the night. He let me sparkle. He told me it was safe to be free and to live my life like it was golden. I can't even begin to explain how much I owe this man my life. Because with that other man, I was lonely whenever he was around. Now I know he's found love and happiness, and I know that she is so in love with you, but I can't help, or I hope that she won't be too upset when you take the occasional nightcap and I run across your mind. I'm just glad that you didn't give up on love because of what I did to you. But sometimes I find myself missing you, and I hope you're okay. That's the end of
Woo!
that. Yes.
I likes that.
Yeah,
I
based on a true story, I was dealing with a Philly dude.
mm-hmm.
So Philly dudes will do to you. Philly dudes will do to you.
That
And he was a
them is
huge
New
Jill
York
Scott fan.
niggas. Them
Yes,
is New York niggas.
he was a huge Jill Scott fan, of course. Like he loved Jill Scott's every breath. And I'm of course a huge Jill Scott fan as well. And
Mm-hmm.
I remember like when, what was it? Volume 3 came out, when The Real Thing came out. And he was loving the hell out of Crown Royal on Ice. And like one day he called me. We had stopped dealing with each other because I was married at the time when I met him. And he was
Mm-hmm.
like, girl, this you right here. He was like, this is you right here. And I was like, stop playing with me, yo. Don't jerk my chain. He was like, I miss you, woman. He was like, but this you right here. He was like, I couldn't find a song to describe you, but this right here. Yes. I was like, yo, shut up, yo. And he could sing. He could sing, my friend. He could sing.
Yeah,
Oh,
mm. it's something. So growing up, I always had my weakness for. I like my guys that play sports, so basketball and football. I was,
Mm-hmm.
and I had my stint with thugs, but it's something about a man that knows how to rap. Oh, I love him. I love him.
You like Erica Badu, like you gotta have a hot 16. Not a lukewarm, hot.
Not yet
You
a
gotta have a
hot,
hot 16.
a hot one, and
You gotta have a hot 16.
and when a guy can really spit like a most deaf, nah,
Yeah.
uh, most deaf Nas, Q-tip type of
Yeah.
spit, that does something to my inner
Yes. Your innards.
shanana, the
Yeah, right
inner,
there in your shana now, right here.
inner
It's right
shana,
underneath here.
my
In your
inner,
shana.
yeah.
Yes.
It,
It's right here under the rib cage. That's where your shana is. It's right there underneath the rib cage.
yeah,
So
it
for
does
anybody who ain't know where it was, it's right there.
it does something to that. It,
Yes.
it reaches in and it
Mm-hmm.
just grabs it and just yanks it and shit and juggles it around. So yeah,
Yes.
when you started doing the his hand your hands on my hips,
Yes. Put it
I
right
was
back.
there. Yeah, I was
He was
there.
like, that's you. He was like, that's you, girl. Listen. I was like he was on the phone with the song playing in the background and he was being silly. He was being helpless. He was like, girl, do you not hear you? Do you not hear you? Like, he was like, yo, if you don't get it did my heart good at the time. But actually, I believe he's married now, married, living someplace else.
Mhm.
And I'm happy for him, I guess. To quote
I got
John Legend, but I wish you the best, I guess. Like, just okay, but I remember when I wrote this poem when I was touring, and he was just like, yo, this is so dope. I feel so loved. I was like, boy, if I wasn't married, you would have been my nigga. But it is what it is. Life happens. Life happens.
so.
But yeah.
Hello, hello. Who do we have? Who do I have
Hi,
the
how are
honor?
you?
Hi.
Hi, how are you? I didn't know I was on yet. My name is Whitney
Yeah.
Chantel. I'm a singer
Hi.
Hi, Whitney.
songwriter. I'm not a poet, but I mean I'm a songwriter, so I guess you can kind of say I'm a poet.
Absolutely.
Yes, you are.
Hold on. Wait a minute. You
Yeah,
got me. You got to turn the camera around because I'm looking at you from the side.
from the side. Oh, right here. Is this okay?
No, no, no,
Is
no.
this
Your camera's on the side.
It's
my
sideways.
camera's
You
on?
gotta turn it back up right side.
You upside
Is this?
down. That's
Oh my
perfect.
gosh, this is okay for you guys? Because
That's
I'm
perfect.
upside down on my side.
Oh my
Yeah, it's
Jesus.
sideways on my end.
Lord, okay. Oh
Whatever,
wow.
It's
whatever angle you look beautiful, and I'm feeling
yes,
that Barbados
absolutely.
flag in the back. I see the Barbados flag in the back.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
welcome. Thank you for joining Satin Sonnets. How are you?
Yes.
Hi. Thanks for having me. Because I wasn't planning on doing that tonight. Usually I get all dressed up and it's a full thing, but I was just like, oh, this event is happening. Let me go check it out. And then I was asked to perform and I was like, okay, cool. Like, let's see what I can whip up for you guys.
Well, I'm glad that you're here. I
Hopefully
am.
my connection isn't horrible. Usually it is. It probably is.
No,
I
you're
see you.
fine.
Guys.
I see you just fine.
It's wunderbar.
Do you have something you'd like to share for us?
Come back. She gone. She went away, and now she's back.
No, not so much.
She was there, and then the internet took her away from us. I feel that's what happened.
I feel like technology is really, I think the machines are turning against us.
I mean, Mercury ain't in retrograde, so I'm all understand what the problem is. I feel like Trump's internet is like taking our joy away from us, and I, for one,
First
will
of
not stand
all,
for it.
please don't speak Miss Mercury up at all. Leave her be. Wherever she is, let her stay there for a few more years. Look, Mercury, catch the corona. We do not need you right now. We do not need Mercury in retrograde. I don't want none of the planets to do anything but sit their asses still because my juju is doing fine and I need it to be, don't mess with it. I don't want no communication issues. I don't want my relationship to be in no issues. I want everything to be just damn fine. So,
last year when Mercury was in retrograde once, I literally had my ass handed to me. Like I got sick. I had to move. Like all kinds of crazy off the wall stuff was happening. I was like, "Oh, y'all can. Oh, so this is what it is. Oh, okay." I was like, I didn't know it was F up Najah's life day. But trust me, when everything righted itself, I was in a whole much better. I was in a so much better position, and so I was like, okay. And I was like, I really didn't know what to do. I just sat still and shut the hell up. And that's pretty much what I learned. Like whenever retrograde hits, I just sit still. I drink my water and mind my business and watch my drink my water, mind my business and watch my mouth. That's pretty much what I would do.
I don't even want to talk to nobody. Just go on about it. I ain't said shit. I ain't talking shit. I'm good.
I ain't buying nothing. Like right now, we ain't in retrograde. So watch me. My laptop had to have a homegoing service. So I have to buy a new one. I'm like, okay, this is a good time to do that. I can go ahead and make this purchase right now. It's great. We can do that. But I'm not doing any major purchases during that time. I'm not making any major decisions. I'm like, no, this isn't the time. We're gonna wait this out.
Do we have any more poets that would like to
Yes, come back.
Share their beauty with us?
I want people to share. I feel like it's very necessary. It's very cathartic. I feel like writing was great when I grew up a reader. I grew up a reader first, and my family is a musical family as well. Like that's everybody in my family like sings or did play a musical instrument at some point. It was cheap entertainment, 'cause my mom's family is Black Catholic, which is very rare. So, but if nothing, it just means it's a whole lot of us. So that was like a cheap way of entertainment. So music always played in the house, all different genres of music and all different types of books were in the house. So that's where my entertainment was. I mean, TV was cool, but my mom guided my television watching, if you will. So like I watched a lot of public television because one, we were too poor for cable. But I learned about a lot of public television. I learned about ballroom dancing. I didn't know that was a sport. I watched a lot. Like my mom introduced me to a lot of Broadway musicals. Like so, I learned a lot, like a different genre of music with that, as far as the audio and the visual coming together. So you will catch me on a Sunday. You will catch me on a Sunday live streaming some musical somewhere all damn day. You will catch me either watching some Turner Classic shit, or you will see me watching some Disney stuff because I'll be on Disney Plus like recklessly, or watching some Broadway musical.
I do too. I love old school musicals. And the poem you said about the Philly made me want to. So this poem, I decided I'm gonna do a poem while we wait. While I'm doing this poem, have someone will step up and say, you know what? Let me share. But I like to.
I want people to share.
So this poem is about a guy that I absolutely. I think I don't know if I was in love with the idea of him or the well I no he was my everything and so and this was I guess the first time I realized that I could love a man. Like it wasn't lust, it wasn't just about what he did with how he made me hot between my thighs, but he actually had something deeper. And so he inspired this piece called Something Deeper. Now it's long, so know this. Keep in mind, and I'm about this from Erica.
Yep.
That I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit.
Yep.
I borrowed that from her. Erica did. No, but no, this was something because when I wrote it, I was basically coming to terms with because we were, and it was like my next lifetime person. Like in the perfect
Yeah,
world, in the perfect scenario, in the perfect lifetime, we would be together. But it wasn't
that's
this
right.
lifetime, and so I
Yeah,
had to
for the
write this.
reality of love.
Yeah, I know. So something deeper. I believe that life. I believe that in life, you may come across many people that you may grow to love. You may come across many that you love at first sight. You may even come across those that you lust for, and the sex is so damn good that you believe that you are in love. But you, I've loved since breath entered my body. When we were zygotes in different wombs, I loved you, and that shit is deep even for me.
Yeah, man.
Now, and I know that I studied the stars and map positions to find true love in this rising and this setting sign. But it's been evident in my mind that you I've loved even before the creation of time. Now, and I know that this may be unreal, but this feeling that I feel for you is indescribable. It's undeniable. It's love. And I know that I've led this existence as if love is only for those characters in fairy tales. I've condemned my heart to live in darkness because I was afraid to say what I feel to the person I feel it for. And I'm still afraid. Which is why these words fill this page.
Yes.
But while I am incapable of verbally telling you what I feel, I can and will write you into eternity. Because you make me feel like life and death at the same time. Every time I look into the darkness of your eyes, I imagine giving birth to your child. Shit, I'd be damned if Cupid didn't cock back and bust a major love cap in my ass because I've loved you since we were toddlers and loving was nothing more than kissing behind the coats and here it start. And this is hard for me to finally admit. For years, I've tried to simplify these feelings as just urges, desires to just have you fill me to capacity, leaving evidence of your journey to the blue side of the universe deep within me. But I realize it's more. It's so much more. You are like human crack, and I just can't let you.
Oh, shit. I'm sorry.
I want you in every known way I can possibly have you, like a junkie. I want to smoke you, inhale you, inject you, commit crimes, and justify them as being because of my addiction to the when you breathe out and then in. You are my definition of perfection, fit for any woman, fit for any man. You are perfectly fit for me. But I've been loving you from a distance, have always loved you from a distance. I still love you distantly. Like the
Mm.
sun loves the moon enough to send its light to stay connected, I regret that you and I couldn't be as I would prefer us to be. You holding me as you hold her, you loving me as you love them. But they could never love you as deeply as me. I filled your place in my heart with this piece and that piece, but they don't actually complete me. Sometimes they fit too loosely. Sometimes
Yeah.
they fit too tight. But you, damn, you fit just right.
Amen. Thank you.
I could limit you to physical beauty, but that would be an injustice to the perfection that you are. Damn. You are the beginning and ending of every song I sang from the ooh to the oh, I love you. Your love stings me deeply in places I've never imagined feelings could exist. And this shit that I feel for you is definitely a sin. It ranks right up there with all seven of them deadly ones. Has to be the greatest sin because what I feel for you, most scholars and every motherfucking pastor I know say I shouldn't feel this way. I shouldn't feel this strongly for you. I shouldn't feel this type of love for you. They limit my desires to have you as being only physical manifestations of the demons that cloud my heart and soul. But these accusations come from finite individuals with finite thinking and capable of conceiving the fact that I've loved you before I even loved me. They can't comprehend that I love you in and out of time. They try to call this some type of ism and medicate it as that type of ailment. But no drug can cure me of what I have. I am incurably stricken with this disease of the heart. And it's terminal because I am going to carry this feeling to my grave because I loved you even before life began, and I still love you when it ends. See, I love you with every exhale and inhale that I take. I love you with every word and thought that I make. I love you more than toe curling, back scratching, neck biting, ass slapping, lip kissing, dirty talking, ooh on, mattress squeaking, backboard banging, doggy styling, freak hole positioning, pillow biting, rump wrangling, bullshit that any pornographic theologian may believe I have for you. I have it bad for you. Got it all up in my chest. Make it hard for me to sleep at night. Wake up with night sweats, because you be walking across my mind. And every time you there, you track mud prints that I'm left clinging to in the morning. You really didn't understand what I felt for you. And honestly, you may never know that this is even about you. Because at times I'm ashamed I've allowed myself to fall this hard for someone. I sit back, split my personalities, trying to rationalize the reasons why I feel this way for you. I remember Roman staring as you spoke, watching your lips bend and curve over every consonant and flow between every vowel. I slipped in and out of reality, imagining the softness of your lips. Even when the wind sucked the moisture from them, I imagined re-softening them with my kiss. And I know that it was probably hard for you to accept me. I know that you still wonder, but I never expected you to leave me broken like this. I find myself gazing at pictures of you, rewriting our stories, giving it new endings, all of them being good, only to return to being caught up in love with you. I love you sinfully. I love your morning ugly and your all day work funk. I sit watching you through the mirrors, chanting charms of good luck and prosperity to you and all that comes in contact with you. Because everything you touch is priceless. And ever since you touched my heart, I have been stuck in this place trying to find my way, my way, my way. I tried to tell you just how much I loved you with my eyes, but you couldn't see past my exterior, couldn't see that beyond my locks, there was a place of warmth made especially for you, decorated it with colors of love, sense of comfort, laid me down there in all my forms so that you would never have any doubts as to who I am and who I'd be for you. But instead, you chose to look away. I gave you my eyes so that you could see clearly, but my face didn't fit the idea you envisioned. Right now, I present you with what's rightfully yours because no one will ever be able to claim it. What you've done will have everlasting effects. No tape or staples will ever mend my heart back to normal again. So I've placed the pieces neatly in a box. I've sorted them there for safekeeping, and I've stored them. I presented you with this box on Christmas Day, but it remains unopened in your room. You kept it there, afraid that once opened out for all of the uglies of this world. Unfortunately, love is only ugly when one doesn't realize that love existed in the first place. When at first taste, one doesn't identify the exact flavor it leaves and dismisses it as something that interests the palates only in passing, but never really savor its essence. Religiously, I mark the day you arrived, making pilgrimage to the temple I've erected in your honor, hoping one day you'll bless me with your presence and leave me filled and weeping with joy at your mere touch. I loved you even when love appeared to be a sin. Scene.
Ah! Ah! I'm sorry. I had to like our producer had to put me off of the camera because I was doing like too much in the background and nobody would hear you. Because I
Okay.
couldn't be trusted as a person, and like he understood because I was just like like because like as soon as you said you're human crack, he pretty much already knew like I was not really gonna be much good, so he had to like put me in the corner. And
And so that's what I felt for this guy. Now let me tell you something. This guy made me almost want to join the army. I wanted to follow him into the armed fucking forces. Go
I ain't
figure.
met no dick yet that made me want to get shot at. To be
This
totally
dick.
honest with you.
Now, funny thing is, I never had the dick. I never did anything with him.
Now I get there, yeah, because you know if you haven't even made it close enough yet, you know you got lofty goals. You feel me? You got real lofty ass goals, and so you be having real lofty ass goals. Trust me, there is a love of my life, and I wrote a poem about that. That we never made it there physically, and you couldn't tell me that I wasn't gonna be his wife and have like half a dozen children by this nigga. Like you couldn't tell me when I
Mm-hmm.
was like 19, 18, 19 years old that shit wasn't gonna happen. But life. But yo, tell me why I just got a message from our fine, wonderful producers at the Artist Exchange that somebody sent in a poem, but they didn't want to read it.
Really?
Yes. And I was like, and it's dope. Me likey.
Okay. So
I
first,
want to read it.
who sent in the poem? Did they announce who they
It's
were?
anonymous. I'm not able to like there wasn't a name.
Oh, really?
Really, really.
Okay.
So I'm gonna
Anonymous.
try to do this
To the
justice because
poem.
this is OPP right now. So
Mm-hmm.
you know, OPP, other people's poetry. I make sure that I'm doing this proper justice. So for the person who submitted this, first of all, thank you for even
Thank
being brave enough to move this. Like everybody has their steps, so we're not gonna count this out. This is a movement, so I want to make sure that your voice is heard. But the poem is titled "Naturally Distracted."
you.
Your
Okay.
gust felt cool against my sweaty body. It almost quenched my shame. It stopped me in a moment of dumb deeds. I felt clean for those brief moments. All the dirt of my unclean acts froze as the breeze picked up its consistency. It gave me a moment of peace. My flesh took notice and pondered, moving on from those seconds of lust. The longer I let that breeze take over my right hemisphere, the longer and harder it became to walk away from that space. I felt almost trapped in my tracks, standing, still waiting for a push or a pull to action. But after every gentle gust, I was met with a heavier weight holding me in that spot. Wanting to run or hide from this moment, I stood in anticipation, waiting for a passerby to notice. But little did I know, these aren't many passers in the middle of nature that are ready and willing to rescue a willing participant. To be continued.
Mm.
That's
Thank you,
fly.
Anonymous.
That's fly.
That
And
is.
whoever this is, yo, pick this pen back up. Let me know. Because I know the struggle of writing and not finishing it. Like, trust me, there's a poem about me pegging a dude that is long overdue, and I have not written it, and I'm working on it as a person.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold up. Wait. Oh, rewind. Did you say it was a poem about you pegging a
Yeah,
dude?
I have an idea for a poem about that, but I haven't quite gotten it together where like it can be fire.
Ah,
I'm
ah.
still like there's so many things running around in my head. One of them being Miguel's song Arch and Point
Mm.
for obvious reasons. And then like there's a few like zingers that I have written down, but I haven't quite put it all together to build that house, if you will.
The funny thing is when you said the Zinga Arch and Point.
Yeah, it's Miguel, like it's Miguel's song Arch and Point. It's off his Kaleidoscope Dream album. He has a song called Arch and Point.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
it's very reminiscent of the situation, like, just, arch your back and point your toes. Uh
Oh wow. So
because it has a line in it that's, kind of like the chorus, for lack of a better term. When it
mhm.
feels this good, it just comes natural. Arch your back, point your
Point
toes.
all right. All right. All right. I'm
Like I said,
picturing
to
it.
be continued. That's another to be continued. I need to work on. That's gonna
So
wind up at somebody's erotica slam. I'm trying to tell you.
yeah, I haven't. So the thing about it is that since all like I haven't really had, and I've been adulting. So when I was in college,
Yeah,
I didn't do a lot of. I wasn't really working around the clock, and I wasn't. I had a lot more free time, and I had a
mm-hmm.
lot of space where I could actually devote to actually writing and being creative. And then
Yeah,
also for me, I have to have muses. I have to actually be in a space where that is something that is being breathed into the air. So I like going. I haven't been to a poetry event in a long time, and when I do go there, I'm inspired to write. I
yeah,
start to think of things poetically. But I haven't had that opportunity. I was saying to myself that I was going to get back into it. At one point, I thought I had grown out of it. And there was a point where I did feel like, it had become a bit much, and it was for me it become played out, and I was like, you know what, I want to do something different. But after
yeah.
I ventured off, saw the world, explored a little bit, and I'm back, and I would love to just to get back into going out and to those little cafes where they would have their poetry nights and just partake, just sit and listen. It's just
Yeah.
something about hearing people just creatively tell their truths. That's
I think
just
it's really, I remember I spoke with 13 of Nazareth, and I told him about my writer's block at the time, and he said, he was like, art does imitate life. If you having a problem creating, it's because you haven't been out living. So you have to go, and you have to go live, and you have
yeah,
to, and while you're living, it's not even just about everything that you create being a confessional situation. It doesn't have to be about you. It's about the people who you experience while you're living. And so,
absolutely.
there's inspiration in that as well. Sometimes I often notice that when that happens, I have like the straw breaking the camel's back situation where I've encountered so much, seeing things
Hmm.
and experiencing things personally or with other people and things like that. And then there's this one little thing that has nothing to do with what I've experienced that comes and tips me off, where all of a sudden I'm
Hmm.
writing again. And all of a sudden I'm writing about something that, may have shifted my spirit in a way that it may move me positively or negatively or whatever, where I'm able to bring my own personal perspective shines through in a creative artistic space. Like, I ain't got no problem carrying a note. So, singing sometimes just works. Or sometimes,
Hmm.
poetry just works. Or sometimes there is stuff that I write that's for the page and not for the stage. There are there's different mediums, like you can be creating and not necessarily be in a particular, just not with just one medium. It's
Hmm.
not just one medium. And
Absolutely.
or
Absolutely.
even in the one meeting that you're good at, this isn't always a confessional situation. It's so many ways, like, to challenge yourself artistically, to challenge your creative mind, because really you still have, a creative intellect. I write, so I did erotica just to challenge myself as a writer,
Really.
just to challenge myself, like, if I can do this,
Mm-hmm.
then goddamn it, I can do, I can do all this other stuff too. Like, I can do this. Like, because sometimes, like, I wasn't exactly, I have no socio-political poems whatsoever. I have a lot of relationship poems. I have where my thoughts are. I have necessarily, like, I have love poems, but in different phases. Like,
Right.
my breakup poem pocket is heavy. Okay. It's deep. Okay. I got some stuff and I can twist it around any way you want to, as far as like the breakup, or how like the breakup, the breakdown, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's a lot. Like, it's separate ways to do this stuff. Nate!
Where is
Hey,
It's
Are you
how's it
Nate.
coming in here to do
going?
a poem or what? Don't you come into our erotic situation
I'm
talking smack?
listening.
Oh no. Are you doing a poem?
No, I'm
Yay!
listening to you all.
I don't want you to come listen. I want you to do, you can't just come interrupting and just pop it
First
up
of
and
all, kudos for this background. Let's start there.
It's me in the shower. You know.
Amen.
So keep going. I'm about to.
next.
Yay! He
So
just want
what
to poke
I
his head in, like, all right, I'm here. Bye.
yes. What I will say to you is this. I'm enjoying you so much in this poetry. I want to do this again.
Yay!
Would you be willing to, because I feel like this is something that I want to do again. And because I think that not just with just the poems, just having a poet online while we're quarantining.
Yeah, we
Let's
out here
make the most
quarantining
of
and
it. Let's
chilling.
open it up and have our poetry night.
I think it's great. Like, I have a lot of other friends. Like, I have friends that are under busboys and poets and whatnot, and they're trying to keep the mic open with their IG lives and things of that nature. I have folks in other states that I've met while touring that are trying to keep the open mic situation dynamic alive
Hmm.
during this period of time.
And
And
this
so they've been going to Zoom, they've been taking it to IG, they've been, providing the content and the
mhm,
platform still, because, there are a lot of, hosts that feel it's their duty to make sure that there's a platform, especially during these times where we may not be able to have the outlets at hand to be able to physically separate from whatever we're going through, to go into a different space. So, when you are a content creator, when you are a curator, it's still a
right,
responsibility that you have. Like, we don't, we don't
right.
take necessarily have an off day. People think artists live this, this lazy ass life, and we don't have off days. We are independent contractors with this stuff, so we don't have off days.
That's absolutely correct.
We and most artists are doing several things. Like, they have a regular 9 to 5 to keep things going until their art can fully pay for whatever their expenses are. So we
Say
are
it again.
constantly on the grind, and people don't some folks, some non-artists don't quite understand that, because we do it for the love. It helps to balance out our left and right brain.
That's right.
This helps us with our mental issues, should we have any.
That is
So
true. A
it's
lot of
very
the
important.
poems, a lot of the poems saved me. I'm being
Hmm.
quite honest because had I not had an outlet to do it, I probably would have shot some people and been
I
locked up some.
remember Rebecca Dupont said that someone told her, "I'm not writing because it saved my life. I'm writing because it saved your life." Because Lord knows,
Absolutely.
I would have punched you in the
Absolutely.
I'm writing to save your life.
Absolutely, because I was in a space and I needed an outlet, and the outlet was my fist for a long time. And even though, and so it was like, I needed something that didn't, I didn't wind up in jail with.
Yeah,
So it
that's
became
real.
art, music, poetry, theater, those places where I got the opportunity to express myself as I chose to express myself. And that's what I actually like about theater and poetry
Yeah,
is you become the character that you truly want to be.
yeah,
You can die, you can just immerse yourself in a character or create a character and escape in that person. And so that's what I do. When I'm out here and I'm Blue Waters, I'm in a different persona. This is not the
indeed.
persona that I wear every day, but this is the persona that I enjoy the most. So that's who I use the most and everything. But I absolutely enjoyed hearing your poem, and I want to hear some more. I want to hear some
Nate,
more.
what's good?
So we have a couple people that are trying to get in, but they're trying. This is their first time using this software, so it's not so click on it and get in. So I've helped a couple people to kind of do it. But I have to say two things first of all. First, happy birthday, Miss.
Thank
Uh,
you.
I didn't know that she was such a young lady. And thank you both for doing this. As you both were just saying, as artists right now, we're really trying to find our way through this and how do we create and still produce work in the midst of something that's unprecedented, something that is just
Yeah.
imaginary, as most of us really in our mind are starting to trying to wrap our minds around what is really happening and what we think is
Hmm.
happening, and then there's still a big gray area that we don't know. Um,
Well, let me
but
before
go
you
ahead.
continue. Can I give a can I mean just whoever's watching this, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, wherever. Let me just tell you how I love my melanin people because y'all have been
Yes.
resilient, resourceful, and how to and create. I mean, just making it work. So even like this whole like I want to say even with Nate, you did the online reading last week of boot prints, the
Hmm.
create the creative reading, and then you're doing the poetry. So let me tell you something. And then I've seen that so many other people that doing. Erica Badu has concerts from her bedroom.
Yeah, $5
DJs have,
holla.
yeah, it done went up. It was at I caught it when it was $1, but but
Yeah.
what I'm trying to tell you is that we are making it work. We are making it work, and I just want to say I want to encourage people to continue to do that. That right there just does something to me. Whenever I see someone out
Hmm.
there using their creativity to make this work to their benefit, literally they're taking lemons and making motherfucking lemon margaritas out here. So
Holla.
they're doing the damn thing. And I want to just applaud everyone that I've seen do something like, all of those artists that are, even the producers that are doing the um, versus the challenges with one another, just
Yeah.
having an outlet for them to just do something. I encourage
Hmm.
people to do more of that.
And what I'm trying to do with the artist exchange, because we're virtual now. Blue show is virtual, and I'm quite sure, Naja, you're being invited to a lot of virtual events to feature.
Indeed,
Um,
I have
I
been.
just
and
invited her. I want to do this again. I just invited her. I
so
just,
So
I'm,
good.
starting not this week, but the following week, this will be every Saturday, and Blue will be hosting it. And it's
with
Oh,
my
with Naja, with Naja. I
with
want
what?
to go.
Naja,
Yes,
with
I'm,
Did bitch just get
Naja.
hired? Let me find out.
And my hope is to not only create a vehicle for us to showcase our talents and be able to do the certain things, but be able to get paid for it. So if you see along the ticker, we've been asking everybody to tip the host, tip the feature, and it's my way
Amen.
of, because we were the last people that people began to think of in terms of paying. Many of our gigs that were related to the arts, whether they be teaching or outright artistry, have been put on pause or
This
postponed
is
or
true.
just stopped in their tracks. And
This
for
is very
me,
true.
I've been sitting right here, as you see my background, my boudoir,
Yeah.
just trying to figure out how to be creative. In the first couple weeks, it was hard, and then we did blueprints, and we'll be doing that series every other weekend. Every other Sunday, we'll be doing a reading of a play, and then now on Saturdays, we'll be doing this open mic series that I want to be able to morph and turn into. I've never done an open mic before, so I've stumbled through this in terms of promoting and really figuring out what I wanted it to be about. But I wanted to push the envelope a little bit. I don't really show this part of myself, but I wanted to definitely do something different. And I really thank the two of you for participating.
so
A lot of people. Go ahead.
you popped your poetry bubble.
I didn't say
You
I
got,
did.
you
I didn't
know,
say all
you,
What
that.
you
was the
no
word
long,
we're
you
using
no
today?
longer, you no longer a your cherry done been popped.
Thank
Well,
you. I thought
this is
cherry
my
was a
first
much
one
more
that I've
appropriate
ever
term. Thank you.
produced. I've done quite a few online places where it wasn't my name or my face. One, because I work with children, and it's not really, popular to talk about sex when you're around children. So,
That's
I
Girl,
don't
I
fine.
like
work
to
for the
be
government.
right. But you got a whole persona ahead of you. I'm an actor.
Yeah,
We
before I got
don't
this
do
government job, trust me, I've been sitting here trying to weigh it out as far as like how far are we
so
going?
this whole shower scene is like giving you a little pause.
Yeah, I'm
But
just like, well, all right.
so I have a couple people right here right now. So if y'all wanna continue talking, do maybe one or two pieces. I'm gonna try to get them on, and then we'll work right through this.
Let's do
Okay,
this. Let's do
let's
this.
do
Do
it.
I
this.
didn't know I was gonna get hired for a job, but that's what's up.
Well,
I
we're gonna have to talk after this. We have to
I
talk
mean,
after
it ain't
this.
like I mean, all honestly, what other shit am I doing on a Saturday night? Like let's call it what it is. It's like, first of all, I didn't got rid of all my hoes, so that I've been breaking them down for months now.
But
It's
we
been a
didn't.
slow
We
taper
we
off.
haven't gotten rid of them. We just, you know, they are limited to the only fan pages. We can't really get rid of them. We have to
Oh no,
still
I
be
got I
able
got rid
to.
of him like this. Like this bed is cold, honey. This bed is
Oh,
cold. It is empty.
oh,
It is we ain't not a
oh.
thing.
see.
It's
That's
me,
why.
myself, and wine.
So you
That's
should
all I
have.
got.
See, that's why you supposed to have some sort of, what I'm saying, living penis.
Oh no,
Yeah, I'm not
no,
ready for that yet.
yeah,
Like,
no,
I've last time I had living, like I was
no.
married a decade ago and I'm still not ready. Like it was just a highly underwhelming experience.
Mm,
I'm good.
mm.
Nah, that's not. I like to share my life, but my bed. That's
Exactly.
a
I like to
that's
share my
a.
bed, but I don't mind. I don't want to share my life. I ain't sharing my life. You can get my bed with me.
I
So
mean, I understand that it's about the
you
everyday.
asking
It's
for
about the
trouble.
everyday. This is one thing from being a
I
married
just like to
person.
roll
It's
over and
about
put
the
it in my mouth.
everyday. And I don't think anybody in this world is ready for the everyday. And, it's a hard thing to grasp, as far as getting around folks to understand that it is an understanding that you can
Right.
easily grasp if you want to, but there's going to be parts of it that not everyone is going to be privy to, and that's kind of how it's supposed to be. Like you're
If I
supposed to
was in here
understand and
every
acknowledge and
day,
respect each other.
I've been home from work since March the 13th. If I
Hmm.
had to share my space with anybody, one of us was going to be in the emergency room. It wouldn't have worked it wouldn't have worked for me. It wouldn't have
I
worked.
feel a little different because I'm essential, so I'm still going to work. I'm still out here in these streets.
Okay,
And I
okay,
have to go to work every day. And it's, I'm grateful that I have family. Like my father lives with me.
okay,
So it's
okay.
great to have some type of support, but not in quite the romantic sense, like not having somebody to share. And that actually was made me actually isolate even more because I realized that nobody was looking out for me in that regard. Like,
Mm.
shit didn't hit the fan now. This is heavy duty stuff. And you're trying to gather your loved ones, and I'm not in that fold with somebody. So it made me realize that maybe I shouldn't put my energy in places that I shouldn't be putting my energy in certain people and certain things and really value who values me. So like there is my inner circle, my friends, my family members that I look out for and I'm checking in on whatever, what have you. But on a romantic tip, there's nobody like phone been dry, phone been silent on a romantic level of anybody who could be interested or claim to be interested, like crickets, my friends,
Oh,
crickets.
so yours stopped? You haven't gotten the daily penis picture or requests
I have
for
pretty
I
much
have. I
vocal
have.
acrobatics? You haven't.
like I've had people who like I had some gentlemen who were once probably in consideration
Okay.
and they don't realize that they had been phased out. You ever had anybody who was in consideration but they messed up and they didn't realize that they messed up and they still think they good with you until
Ooh.
you really start like curbing their asses on some real shit. I've had a couple of those encounters recently where I'm just like, I'm in a place where I'm like, look, let's cut the shit. You ain't where you think you are.
Moni says, I
And
do what I want.
like I'm like, honey, you really weren't checking for me like you needed to be. Like, you're only hitting me up right now because you're stuck wherever the hell it is that you're at, and I'm not here to relieve you. I'm not your summer home. We're not doing this. Because I'm doing real life shit here. I have to go to work every day. I have to expose myself. I got to stay clean. I got to do all this. You're not going to support me in that.
Well,
I
you
know this
have
to
to
be
be
true.
careful during this time because there are a lot
Yeah.
of homosexuals that
Preach.
found shelter, but they're not really interested in the shelter that they found. So they're
Yeah.
looking for a summer home.
Exactly.
And so you have to be careful during this time. There are a lot of people out there that's trying to move.
I've been a few gentlemen's emotional summer homes. I've been, I'm not really in the mood to be doing the emotional work
Right.
and doing my own, because I'm already doing my own like daily. But I can't be doing my work and put up with you not doing yours. Like, I can't do that at the
Mm.
same time. Like, that's not going to work for me. And
So
then
you're
call ourselves
saying
partnership. Like, we're not doing,
when you grab
that's
your
not what's going to.
person coat, he has to grab his person coat also, is what you basically saying.
Exactly. Like,
I
I
Okay.
hope
don't.
not. Now, first of all, the way you just put that up in there, if he grabbing a purse,
Yeah.
Nate, you was a sly one, Mr. Grinch.
I don't judge people. This was an open forum. Whatever your
Said,
pleasure
Indeed.
and then
is
you
your
out here.
pleasure.
First of all, homosexuals need love too. They
They
need love.
do. They
They need. It's
do.
not from you,
They
and not
do.
from
They do.
me.
But
And
they
I'll have to
also
say,
need their own shelter. They also need shelter.
I mean,
But
that's the whole thing. Is like, there's nothing wrong with being a homosexual. It's just more so about the fact that whatever home that you are choosing, that someone has allowed you to be in, you have a responsibility to do the work, to do your inner work, to be of assistance to the household in some capacity while doing your inner work.
and what capacity would that? Is that sexual capacity? Is that mopping and cleaning capacity? Is that
yes.
Mopping and
paying
cleaning
half of these
capacity, and
bills
while you are mopping
capacity?
and cleaning and organizing, I need you to start thinking about how the hell you got into the situation in the first place where you could not support yourself and find your own shelter. Like, you need to be asking yourself, how did I wind up in the space of my life where I'm dependent upon the kindness of another human being to be able to get by fully in such a large percentage? I need you to be asking yourself the hard questions.
Ah,
I
Marty
want to
says
also,
say no to homosexual.
and you
And
know what
that's a
else?
real word.
I also want. I want. This is to the females that are watching. I want y'all to really start giving men, telling the men the truth. Stop
I'm been
gassing.
on it. That's why my ass is
Stop
single, yo.
gassing these
Been on it.
guys up and telling them that their dick is that good. Because what happens is that then you send these distorted guys over to the gays, and we want to send them back because they bring in half-ass trash to us, and we don't want that. So look, what I'm telling you is that your baby fathers and your
Yes.
boyfriends and stuff, we don't want them. Don't think that we try and compete with you for them. If they're not good for you, there are some of us like myself that knows that if they're not good for you, they ain't gonna be shit for me. So we on one
One thing
accord with
I've
that.
learned is that this is like, ain't shitness is an equal opportunity employer.
Exactly.
Stay
And they always hiring at that
hiring.
agency. They hiring.
Because if a
Ain't
motherfucker
shit.
ain't got nothing else, they got the goddamn audacity. Trust me,
Yeah.
they ain't got shit else.
Can
Say it.
we? Can we? I want to make sure we stay
Get
on
these in
topic,
positions.
but can we? Can we define what eroticism is? What pleasure is, other than just I know our background has given us one perception of what it is, but can we, or can you two define what it is for you?
Eroticism is, for me, is, I would say, is artistically or creatively conveying sex without being vulgar. It's
Right.
like, it's not, it's almost like, I'm gonna say, it's like how belly dances. You don't necessarily have to get naked, to be sensual, to be sexual, to inspire sex, to inspire lust, but you can feel it. And so I think to me, that's what eroticism is. It's teasing you, giving you just enough to make you want more, but not giving you the whole thing.
Right, right.
For me, eroticism is metaphysical sensuality, as far as I'm concerned. Like it's a metaphysical sensuality. It is taking something it's taking a natural energy, and we're using all these different mediums, be it music, be it words, be it sounds, audio, visual, be it visual. Like these are those are the tools that we use to manifest that metaphysical sensuality between human energies. That is what my view of what eroticism is.
Okay. If so, in terms of uh, the art of writing, or Blue, you a singer. Well, both of you all are singers. But in terms of the written word and eroticism, how have you found this to be your open door to kind of expressing those parts of yourself?
Wait,
Does
you
that
want to
make
do this
sense?
first, Blue, or me? You want to do this one?
I'm gonna let you go because I'm laughing at Marnie.
I know I was trying not to. I've been trying to hold my peace, but I was
I was
like, all right,
distracted
money, all right.
because yes, I don't know. That was funny.
One of the things as far as writing is concerned, like I was telling Blue earlier, that I took on erotic poetry as a challenge. When you're writing, and there's certain things that don't necessarily appeal to you, you're going to lose your zeal for it. So
Mhm.
you need something that's going to challenge you. Like sometimes I don't like, that's why I kind of try to get into 30/30s when I can. I like to be challenged in some way, because like if you don't use it, you lose it. So I look for ways to challenge myself to
Mm,
still remain in a space of wanting. So erotic poetry was not something I was doing at the time. And so I stepped up to the plate to do it because it had me reach an audience that I wasn't reaching before. I didn't tour until I started doing erotica. Like I didn't know what tour life was until then. And even still, with me touring with Sweet Spot for the brief period of time that I managed to parlay that into having like content. Folks are recording things. I would use that and send to other artists to open up for their shows that didn't know about me. So like it just built upon itself.
Mhm.
That's how I wound up touring with Just Mike. I opened up a couple of shows when he had a tour like back in 2016. So it gave me that opportunity, even though that was a non-erotic, to be in erotica put me in non-erotic spaces. And so that was one of the great things. Like when you challenge yourself, you're going to find yourself in places that you weren't before, even
Mhm.
doing stuff that you weren't normally doing. Like you challenge yourself in one way will allow you to have people be exposed to you and all the other talents that you're capable of having. So that's one of the great things I feel that is great about it.
And and it also, I think that eroticism is, instead of you being, it's indirect. It's indirect
Yeah.
sex. It's
Mm-hmm.
indirect sex. And so it's like, you use illusions, you use symbols, you use subtleties, you use symbols, things that you would not originally or initially attribute to sex, and
That's right.
you create, like the poem I did earlier, Spilled Milk.
Yep.
You walk away and you say, I will never think of milk the same way. You know
Yep.
what I mean? You
It's
know,
about
the
bringing a new
you
perspective.
yeah, you was talking about school, in class, geometry, home economics, and things that you never look at making food in a sexual way, but to take ordinary things, ordinary
Yep.
events that happens in life, and just and spin it in a way that you walk away and you feel aroused. You walk away
Yep.
and you say, you know what? Damn, I want to fuck.
And that's proof of the prowess of your pen, about your
Yes.
capability. And it also allows people to see what you see. Like I said, it's like a virtual reality situation where you're sitting people in your POV without actually having to fully engage, but they are seeing what you're seeing. They're doing what you're doing without actually having to fully commit themselves to it. But they will walk away with a completely different perspective.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So, as we wrap up this first erotic poetry experience, I wanted to again thank you both for supporting my effort to really just do something in this crisis that's in the line of what we already do. It's not like we're bored. We just, my mind
Yeah.
is actually racing. So for the first couple of weeks, I couldn't even really sleep that well because my mind was, doing one of these numbers, and
All
I
turbines.
was sitting in one space. Um, and this will be something that we do on Saturday nights. So I want to really get the word out there. And you two really represent two artists that Baltimore has, and what is possible for us. Because we really don't know how long this is going to be going on. And I want to be able to really venture out and do things that kind of scare me a little bit because this organizing events in a city like Baltimore is scary.
Yeah,
For
it's
me,
terrifying.
it's terrifying. But I want to close out with a really happy birthday. I know it's really hard uh,
Yeah.
celebrating our life in confinement, but
I
I
will tell
wanted to
you right
say,
now,
go
my
ahead.
birthday is horribly placed. Like every couple of years, I get screwed
Mm,
because you got to think about it. Like there's always something going on. Like I when I came over here from California, LA, South Central LA, I came
mm,
here 6 months before the LA riots that took place April 28th.
oh wow.
So my whole family was fighting for their goddamn lives, and we sitting over here in Maryland. It was definitely my birthday was a downer that year. And then think
Mm,
about it. The Baltimore uprising was around the same time, literally like a few
yep,
days, couple of days before. Same thing. I
yep.
couldn't go anywhere. No one could come see me. We've had flash floods. We've had school shootings. We didn't like this is
Mm,
not like as soon as spring hits, everybody just acts stupid. And now we have a
yeah.
pandemic. So I'm like, this is really nothing new to me. Like there have been few years where there have been breaks where things have been peaceful, and I just take my birthday in my own hands. My friends be like, "Oh, we were planning stuff." Nope, I already planned my own stuff. I'll see y'all. I'll see y'all on the first.
And
But
my thing is that you don't have to celebrate it on your birthday. You get the whole month, so you can
yeah.
sit back
Yeah, like
and I also honestly because mine's is my birthday is in hell. That's what I can.
July,
No, it's August.
August.
August is hell, and so no one wants to do shit but like no. So I usually wait until the fall to actually do anything for my birthday. It's too fucking hot to be dancing and celebrating and cooking out. It's just too hot. And I'd
Mm.
rather be naked in water. So
I'm being
Well,
totally honest with you. Like my birthday's at the end of the month, and if you've ever lived in the hood and lived, on that welfare life, ain't nobody got no money on my birthday anyway. So it's really like by the time the 30th hit, like ain't nobody looking out for me until the first come, and usually people get amnesia by that point. So like I'm
right.
used to going without.
uh,
It's what it's gonna be.
Well, I I have to say, well, my birthday's in the spring, and my birthday's in the spring, and I really don't
it's
have any
coming up
major.
too.
It is. I never really have any major weather issues, but I had to celebrate my birthday with several cousins. I
Ugh.
have a cousin that's a younger cousin that's born the day before. Her sister is born the day after mine, and then I have a sister that's born 4 days after mine, and then I actually have a actual cousin that was born the evening, and I was born that morning, and then we have an older cousin that. So I never have ever had a birthday unless I decided to go on vacation by myself, or
Yeah, you had to go
normally I
rogue.
work. Yep, normally I work, so probably this year I'll probably be working again in a pandemic virtually online.
Yeah,
But
when you have kids, you kind of forfeit your birthday anyway. Don't nobody care about you. My son's birthday is 9 days before mine. So ain't
Your
nobody
birthday
care.
don't
Like,
even
exactly.
exist
Ain't
no
nobody
more.
care.
well, this year we're pledging that we're gonna be positive. Like I'm loving the fact that you're doing what you normally do on your birthday. That's something that I always do. I always work on my birthday, and
Yep.
I love doing it. I love going into work knowing it's my birthday, and it don't nobody. I don't even care if people know or not, but because I normally don't publicly celebrate it anyway. But I
Right.
just love doing what I do on
Mm-hmm.
my day because it really validates
Yep.
just the importance of what I do and what I love. But we're gonna close out. We got 5 more minutes. If you all want to do
Yay.
another piece or you want to leave us with a great, I have to say before y'all do anything, thank you to everybody who has been trying to tune in. I know this isn't the typical platform, but this is the one that we'll be using. So I'll be giving a little bit more instruction on how to get into this live from now on. Thank you to everybody that's been hanging in there, listening on YouTube and on Facebook. Next month, next month, May, we'll be having it live on a couple other platforms, just so it'll be a little bit easier for people to be able to join in.
Mm-hmm.
The point of
Great.
this is secondly to be an open mic, but the first purpose of this is just the conversation. The and YouTube naturally flew into it, so I didn't even have to give much direction in that area. But it's really to pinpoint the word, the person who created the word, and then the open mic is something that I want to continue to make a part of it, just so other people who feel compelled to do so, or we can have people like we did today who drop some anonymous jewels on us. But again, if you want to drop out, feel free.
I got one.
Yay!
This is the one that makes the money.
This is the
Okay.
one. I like that.
I want to walk up to a man I've never met and say, I want to fuck you. Fuck the pleasantries. Fuck the first name introduction. Shit, he ain't even got to be cute because his face will look better once my pussy's on. He may be taken aback and ask for clarity regarding the words I utter, but nigga, I ain't stutter. You want this pussy or what? I know we're in Starbucks and you're waiting for your latte with no sugar, 2 shots of espresso, tall and strong, but I'm standing in front of you soaking ass wet with no panties on, and I got an itch the demon DeLuca can't fix. I got a special brew going on up underneath this dress, and I need the perfect 10-inch stirrer to mix. So if going to your place or mine is a bit too personal for you, then I guess the parking lot out back will just have to do. I just need your cream to balance my mocha out. My back against brick wall, my leg over your shoulder. I promise you'll thank me when this is over, as your tongue creating a semicircle suckle that will make my knees buckle while I shudder a surrender so sweet that your teeth will decay upon contact. Yeah, I'm horny as hell, don't know how to act. You see, I can't be this way with dudes that know me. Niggas try to lay claim and ain't got nothing new to show me, but everything about you, stranger, is new. I don't know you like that, and that's great because that means I ain't got to put on airs for you. You ain't gonna look at me funny while I gag off the full length of you while handling your testicles like Benoit balls. You won't even have time to be offended when I squirt come right in your eye. You'll be too busy asking me for more, and I will gladly give it to you if you want me to, stranger. I like you. Your enthusiasm excites me. I knew that your hips would invite me just like this. I knew that my tongue would delight you just like this. And I knew that my mahogany hips would brazenly surround and astound you just like this. I swear to God, when I walked in here, I had every intention of just wanting some coffee. But I swear I will give that shit up for good if you promise to bang it out just like you should. They say you never get a second chance to make a first impression. But the way that your face glistens from my essence, I know that you will never forget me, even though you never really knew my name to begin with. I'm just a woman you never met, that came up to you and said, I want to fuck you. And we're done. Yay! Now go get some coffee, y'all. All right, that is my poem. Happiness,
I want to
happiness,
say
happiness.
thank you so much, Najah.
My
I
pleasure.
truly, I truly appreciate having you for today's Satin Sonnets. Um, Now,
As my
let me tell
grandmother
you
would say,
something.
bless your heart.
Let me tell you something. I absolutely concur with what you say. I just want to go up to somebody and say, I want to fuck you too.
I want to fuck you. Like,
I
what
also
you?
want, it's a minute, it's a few guys I want to just go up to and just like, let me suck your dick. But,
Yeah, and I'll be having those moments because, like, hormones are real out here, and I
it
just be
is.
like,
And I think the older I get, the more they rage. But, I keep
this
to
is a real
myself,
thing.
yeah, I keep to, and 10 inches is not, that's a nice beginning.
Amen. Amen. Real
That
thing.
is definitely a blessing. I've enjoyed you. Enjoy your birthday. Thank you for celebrating it with me.
It's
Marnie
a
just
pleasure,
called.
Blue. Thank you so much.
I
We back
want
at
you
it
to
next week.
know.
You done hired me and everything. Okay, well,
Look,
we're doing it,
look,
right?
I'm not. Look, that's right. Look. I was telling. I need someone to fill in this space with me. I like to bounce off of energy. Nate be like,
Yes.
you good, but I love bouncing off of everyone else's energy. I like to bounce off his energy too, but he's an old fucking prude. So, um, but that's what I think. That's what I think about him. So. Oh, here he comes.
First
Hey,
of
man.
all,
Hey.
I am classy,
Hey.
not trashy.
I'm sorry.
So,
I
first
can't
of all,
breathe.
You
we're
best
gonna
to hide
close
in
out.
pocket.
We're
But
gonna
guess
close
what?
out, and the next time you see us will be not this Saturday, but the following Saturday. And coming up this Sunday, May the 3rd, we're doing an August Wilson tribute with a number
Yes.
of great, phenomenal actors. We have one woman actress. I can't say female because people be sensitive with it. But closet whore. I cannot with parties. But so
I
we'll
be
be
that
back
shit.
on Sunday at 3 o'clock at August Wilson tribute. A number of men from across the United States coming together with August Wilson as our center point. We'll have a couple interviews with the actors, and they'll be doing some monologues. These are some phenomenal actors that go. Most of them are known, most of them are phenomenal, but I'm looking to push people out and connect them with people who they don't
Wonderful.
necessarily get to meet every day. And August Wilson's birthday was actually the 27th. So this
Hey,
is in
Taurus. Whoop
dedication,
whoop.
right? We want to do this in dedication of the late August Wilson and really connect his legacy with the impact that he has had on our culture, the black art scene in general, and we're going to continue this virtual series on the Artist Exchange with phenomenal artists like Blue and Najah B Najah. So
Yeah.
we're going to close out. The two of you don't go anywhere. I'm going to take you off the screen. We have a couple of commercials that we have to run.
Got it.
And don't go anywhere. We'll be right. Well, we'll be back Sunday. Don't go anywhere.
God bless you. Good night.
Don't go anywhere. Don't log off yet, y'all.
Yeah.
Uh,
See my kits and caboodles.
If loving you was just a dream, then let me rest forever. It's just me and you and right now, baby. Will you be the one? Will you be the one? Will you be the one to take my heart away?
I was stuck between my grandmother's life and my own nightmare.
Blood in my pink panties, pink blood on my sheets.
He crumbled me into pieces.
That wasn't no way to treat no wife, even if I was like carpet.
I wanted to be loved.
All kinds of shoes got to walk on a woman's chest. Boots, dress shoes, sneakers, cleats too. There was hardly no more love left in me. I was married to him too long.